Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is October 2nd, 2024. We missed you guys last week, but I have to tell you, we were at the beautiful Hotel Cleveland with our luxury symposium. It's the second one we've done, and wow, it was amazing. We had 75 agents, 76 agents in the room. We had 19 different suppliers. And what a fantastic group of agents. We had some of the best conversations about how really everyone can find room in the luxury space. So it was a fantastic event. I couldn't have asked for a better group, and we can't wait for next year. After leaving luxury event symposium, I was on my way to the Poconos. I'd never been to the Poconos before. And Chantel Nye and I were speaking at the Central Pennsylvania ASTA conference, and business symposium is what it was called. And it was a really fantastic event. We had a great time, met a lot of agents, both within KHM and outside of KHM. So if any of you are listening, thanks so much for the warm welcome last week. But it was really fun to speak to people that I don't usually get to speak to. Okay, so while we were ending our week, of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in Florida and the East Coast that were impacted by the storms, and of course, those in Mexico as well. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. There's quite a bit of cleanup to do, and we are thinking about all of you. But today, I'm excited to welcome, and I hope you will all enjoy this episode. We're going to discuss the KHM core values and how they play a role in the way we run our business, and whether or not you yourself should have some core values within your business. So please welcome to the show Maddi Srail, Amy Garner, and Yvette Shoemaker. Welcome, you guys.
Hey, Carolyn.
Hi.
Wait, where's our Yvette? There she is.
There I am.
I'm so excited to have you guys. It's so fun when we just have a group of people on and we're just gonna talk and have a good time. So I want to make sure everyone introduces themselves. So Amy, why don't you go ahead and start? You're in my upper corner, so that's why I'm starting with you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Garner. I am part of the engagement team here at KHM. I also lead our DE&I, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion initiatives, and help with our agent advisory board too.
Perfect. Yvette.
Hello, Yvette Shoemaker here. I've been with KHM since May of 2019, and I'm excited to do this. Thanks for inviting me.
And you're part of our BIPOC group, correct?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. And Maddi.
Hi, I'm Maddi, and I'm in the billing team. I'm a billing specialist, and I also lead our KHM Cares initiative, which is our charitable branch of the company.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about our core values as a company. We know that people first is one of them: loyalty, integrity, prosperity, generosity, authenticity, community, stewardship, excellence, teamwork, and professionalism. So that's a lot on our plate. But I feel like for the most part, those are things that just daily we should be doing. It shouldn't be hard work to really incorporate those into our personal daily lives, but also our work life. So Maddi, let's start with you, because I want to hear about, and I want others to hear about, the work that KHM Cares does, who it benefits, and why it's important to KHM as a whole to have this initiative.
Yeah. So KHM Cares, we do a lot in our local community, and we want to get everybody involved. So we have our in-office staff get involved, we have our remote staff get involved, and then we also love to include our agents at any of our in-person events. So when you guys come to Ohio and you're at a boot camp or Destination Success or luxury, we always do some type of drive that was going to support the community around us. And then when we go on other events, we do FAMs that are sponsored by KHM, or Seminars at Sea, and even Crystal. We like to do a drive that will then support the community that we are in. So I know last year on Crystal, we did a drive that all the excursions that everybody bought all went towards a sea turtle rescue in the Bahamas.
One of the most amazing things to watch is especially the back to school drive that happens
yes.
every year. And just to see the number of items that people
For sure.
donate and create backpacks, it's so heartwarming to see. And of course, I think now there's a winter clothing drive, which is so important. It's hard to think about when it's still 90 degrees outside, but it's going to come quick and it's going to come fast. And so I love the fact that even though it's still hot out, we're moving towards that because it will impact a lot of communities, and we want to make sure they're prepared for it.
Oh yeah, and we are even starting to kind of open up and branch out because KHM Cares actually just got 501c3 credentials. So we are starting to move forward and up. So we are starting to get more organizations involved. So this year we did a new drive in Medina County, here where the corporate office is, where instead of doing school supplies, we actually collected educational books and games that go to preschoolers and kindergartners who are in lower income homes who don't get to go to preschool all the time. And there's a group of ladies who actually go into the houses of these children and they bring the games and the books and they do lessons and teach them how to read. And when we had the organizer of that organization come in, she was just so warmed by how much we were able to get for them between monetary donations and the books and games. And so many of our agents were so helpful with that at Destination Success this year. We are even trying to get more drives for people who are in the company. So anybody who is with KHM, we have now opened up a new opportunity that each year they get to pick a charity or a drive of their own choosing, and we donate $50 on their behalf for each employee each year.
That's awesome. I think it's always great. And I know as agents, a lot of times people want to join organizations really to get their name out there for their business. But what we always say is be authentic, right? You're not joining an organization to reap a reward, financial reward. You're joining an organization because you truly love the cause.
Oh, yeah.
And perhaps you will reap some sort of benefit by someone turning around and booking with you. But it's really more about being part of the community and having that mutual respect for business and the people in it. Thank you, Maddi, because and this is like just a small, like, this is almost, yes, it's become part of your job, but it started out as like volunteering.
Yeah.
And now it's a bigger
Every day.
part, and that's really special.
Yeah.
So when you think about the core value that hits the most, which one is it when it comes to your work with KHM Cares?
I would have to say 2 for a tiebreaker, and I would definitely say people first and community, because everything I do is I'm always listening to what agents need. We have agents who call in, and we have a channel that anybody who talks to a KHM employee can really reach out to me and let me know, hey, this agent is going to get surgery, or this agent had a fire. And although it's so horrible for that agent and we could only do such a small bit, but we want to send them something to let them know that we are thinking about them. They're in our hearts, they're in our prayers, because they are first. They come first in our hearts, and we want everybody to be happy, healthy, and want them to be able to run their business. So whatever we can do to help an agent, we always try to do something.
Perfect. Okay, Yvette, as an agent, you got involved in the BIPOC group. Can you explain what that is and why it was important to you to become a part of it?
So the BIPOC group is Black, Indigenous people of color, and the group was created to create a space for people with shared identities, shared ethnicities, where they can grow within their business and support each other through challenges. I came across it not by accident, because I do read the newsletters that we get every month, but I saw it and I thought, ooh, what is this? I'm all about diversity and inclusivity. So I saw it, I joined the meeting, and I've only been to about maybe 3 or 4 meetings, and they've been very, very influential for me, because that's the way I live my life. I try to be authentic. I'm definitely all for diversity and inclusivity, because I have a multi-generational family filled with all different types of people. So I definitely love the fact that this group was started, and I'm hoping that more people will join and get out there and see what it's all about. So that was really the main reason why I joined, because it was right up my alley, and I thought this is great. And then I found out that Amy was involved, and then Marcus Williams was also involved, and I think he was on the first meeting, and he said something that really influenced me when he said that he was looking for more people of color to be involved in these diamond agent trips. So I thought, oh, he's going to be, helping us out, getting us up, moving us up and everything. So I just thought I thought that was really authentic. And I really enjoyed that first time that I was on the webinar. So my plan is
I love to hear that. And I love to hear that agents learn from other agents, right? I mentioned at the top of the show that we were, that I spoke at the ASTA conference. And one of the things that I always like to say is, the person next to you is not your competition, right? It's what's online that's your competition. The person next to you is your resource. The person next to you can be your guide. And the minute you recognize that, you will start to soar. And so I love the fact that people get together on their own time, right? And people are busy, yet they make time to be together and learn from one another. And sometimes it's commiserate with one another, let's be honest. But it's an important part to release that so that you can move forward. So I love that you found that sense of community and that it's doing something for you. Amy, you have kind of been leading the charge for some of these. I don't want to call it, what is the word? Is it initiative? Is it movement? That sounds weird. What is it? We know why it's important, but what is it?
We've gone with the word initiative so far. But I kind of like the idea of movement. The travel industry tends to be very one note. And I think it's amazing that we have all these resources and all of these tools that we can give agents that show them all of the different ways to travel and how to help all of the different kinds of people who want to travel, but also creating space in the industry for agents who are doing different things and who are servicing certain populations or who want to have a niche like accessible travel. That's fresh on my mind because I've answered 3 questions about it this morning. But that really ties into our core value of people first, right? That we want to make sure that we are serving people first. So that starts at the agent level, making sure that our agents, no matter where they are in their agent journey, that they have the tools they need, but that then they can also carry that people first line through to their clients and have the tools that they need to support their clients with whatever their travel challenges, concerns, needs might be for their travel.
I also think authenticity plays into this. It's hard for people to be authentic, believe it or not. I think it's hard because I think authentic sometimes parallels vulnerability. And that's not always something that people want to admit. And so I think when we are in these communities and these spaces and to recognize that we might not know it all, we don't know the right language to use and be open about saying, Amy, I'm going to say this word initiative, but I don't know if that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it movement? Is it committee? What is it? And I hope that people understand that it's out of, a desire to know and learn more, as opposed to why doesn't she know that kind of thing? And I think that goes with all of these groups. It's just it's a really special place to be when you've got these opportunities within a host agency, right?
Right.
You don't have to provide these opportunities.
Definitely.
You just can provide an IATA number and a CLIA number to book. Really, that's what we're doing. But to provide these other opportunities for agents to find community, I think is huge, and it's very authentic.
It's true. I think the authenticity piece is such a big part. I loved what you said earlier about, joining these organizations and participating and making donations that are authentic to your brand. Because sometimes then you're also going to have to stand up for that too. I ran into that in my own business where I have been a very active supporter of an LGBTQ group in our area. And I've lost business over it, and so there's the ups and the downs. I've gained
Right.
way more business than I've lost because of it. But, that your core values really have to be authentic to who you are. And that the actions that you take and the directions you take your business are something that you want to stand behind.
Mm-hmm. Yvette, do you find that in your business as well, that you've seen an ebb and flow, or you've seen clients come and go?
I have seen clients come and go, but it's your usual travel agent things where friends and family are usually the last to book with you. And then sometimes you just get people who want to book things on their own and everything. But I do try to, within my business, stay authentic and do my very best to give the person what they're looking for. But yeah, I guess it does ebbs, and there are ebbs and flows. And I just try to, do my best and be my authentic self and put people first.
Yes. And do you feel like you have some core values or even a mission statement that you have for your business? I know this is sometimes like when businesses start, this tends to be like the first thing they do, right? Like, what's our mission statement? That's part of, the structured business plan. But as I've said in multiple events, many of us came to this without having that structure. And so do you feel like you have a mission statement that you've written down or core values that you live by every day?
I would say more core values than an actual mission statement. So I try to be as genuine and as personable as I can with my clients, and I think that kind of what sets me apart from others sometimes. Because I'm not all business. It's like, I'm trying to get to know the person. I'm trying to show them better ways to travel, to help them budget. So I think it's just my personality, my core values is what that comes out more than just a mission statement is saying I'm looking to do this or that. I do always tell my clients, like we all are available to our clients before, during, and after their travels. But I also try to help the people who think that they cannot afford to travel. I try to give them other ways, other examples of ways to travel. So.
And when you do that, how do I say this? Well, because, our goal is to make money in this business, right? It's not to give away the secrets.
Right.
But do you kind of feel like when you have to do that, it's 1 for every 5, so it kind of balances out in your mind and therefore becomes that people first? Like if someone can't book with you, or you decide not to book what they want to book, but you give them some hints, is that kind of like, it's almost like that pro bono work, right? That you're not going to book it, but I'm going to guide you a little bit. I'm not giving you the whole shebang, but I'm just telling you, go to Google Flights, go to the airline, go to this website, and you can do what you need to do. Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah, kind of. I do kind of like what you said, a little pro bono, not completely pro bono, but give like a little bit of guidance to someone who's thinking, well, I'm never going to be able to go on a vacation. And then I'm like, well, let's have a conversation, figure out what it is that you're looking to do. But yeah, I guess like you said, 1 for every 5, but I don't want to count out the people who think that they can't afford to travel because, everybody wants to travel. I know it is a luxury and it is a privilege to be able to do it, but I want to be able to help someone make memories. That's really what I'm in it for, is to help people make memories. So.
Yeah. Amy, do you find that as well? I mean, I know over the years, right, I've tried to work on that customer service piece in the sense of if someone, reaches out to me and doesn't want to, isn't quite what I do, I don't just say, I don't do that. Thanks very much. It's, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. Here, I don't really, that's, not really what I do, but here are the steps that I think you should take to do this on your own.
Definitely.
Do you find yourself in that position too?
Yeah, definitely. And, like I kind of have like a canned response for some things so that I can just be like, hey, this is not something that I can help with, but here's where to get started. But I
Yeah.
also find that like in practicing those core values and really embracing all aspects of DE&I, one of them is like my military families. They have certain perks and there's certain advantages for them that they can use purchasing like theme park tickets on base and things like that obviously are not eligible for commission. They're not going to help me make any money or reach any sales goals, but I have a commitment to those families still, so I still will treat them like they're my client, even though they're not necessarily booking their tickets through me or they're not doing some of those other components, just because that aligns with what my personal beliefs are and what I want in my business. So I'll take that extra time to do some of those things for the families who need it. Or I don't know if anybody else has had this, but the Make-A-Wish families, sometimes you'll hear from them like, okay, they've made our plans, but what do we do? Like,
Right.
once we're there. And so sometimes some of that I feel like it's the volunteer work, it's the communication or the community participation that I want to pay forward.
Yeah.
Maddi, you've been doing a little booking here and there.
Yeah, a little bit dabbling.
Dabbling? We don't use that word. We're a small business, no matter how it works. You're a small business, even if you just do it like once every 3 months.
Yeah.
What have you learned about the travel agent community and how we kind of roll?
I feel like the first thing is that if you need anything and you ask anybody, you're normally going to get an answer as soon as possible. Like, I know I've asked Amy questions. I'd be like, hey, so about this, like, I did the training, I did my due diligence, but like, I'm still lost. What do I do? And if you ask anybody, they're going to help you. They're going to have an opinion, and they're always going to be willing to help you deal with a client. I mean, I've only booked family. I've booked 2 people that weren't family. And honestly, I've learned that dealing with family is harder than dealing with strangers.
Amen.
And
Yes.
and I didn't believe it, and I did it myself, and I was like, man, everybody was right. But
Yeah.
I love them, but
Yep.
still.
They're kind of the gateway, though.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're the gateway, right? They might not book with you, but they're the first one that's going to be your cheerleader to say, oh, but I don't book with her, but you should.
Yeah.
And that's helpful. That is helpful, especially when starting out. You still have to wonder why they won't book with you, but they're more than happy to tell everyone else to book with you. So that's impressive that you've kind of taken that leap, because I think it's a great industry.
Awesome.
There's lots of reasons not to, but there's lots of reasons to absolutely jump on board as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. So I want to ask you about some things that are going on in the industry. Now, those of you that are watching or listening, I did not tell them what I was going to ask them. So they're so nervous, but these things they're so easy that I just am so curious about what you think. All right. So Southwest, right, is changing their seating policy. Are you on board or are you not on board?
I am cautiously on board. If anybody knows me, I'm a Southwest girly. So the thing that's been awesome has always been that you have flexibility in those kinds of things. And, there was a lot of options. They have their customer size policy, and they let young families board early and all those things. That I don't know how it's going to work with the new direction that they're going in. So cautiously optimistic is what I'm going to say.
Okay. Yvette, Maddi?
I guess I'm kind of the same. I don't really fly Southwest a lot. Their hub is here in Phoenix also, but I fly American mostly. But I guess I'm just wondering, how are they going to do this? I don't know.
Slowly and over time is what I have. I was reading about it today, and they have to start by like changing the airplanes, right?
Yeah,
They've
that's
got
a
to
lot.
they've got to add space and take seats out. And, and then, one article was like, wow, we haven't changed the seating policy yet. So if you do get on board first and you're on one of those planes that's been changed over, you've got a windfall because you've got 6 extra inches of legroom. So it's kind of interesting. Maddi, are you a Southwest fan?
I am, and I've always been. I like the freedom because I'm not one of the people who I like to get on the plane first. And I don't know why, but like I like to know when I'm getting on and I want to get on early. I'm going to do my best to get on as soon as I can because I don't like walking on the plane and having everybody already in their assigned seats and you have to find that one seat that's yours and you can't find it. That is so stressful to me. I don't know why, but like just thinking about it, I'm sweating because
It's easy though if it's assigned because it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it like jumps to 8.
but I still
And then
feel
there's
rude.
never a 13 on a plane. So then but you just keep going. You'll find it.
But what
It's
happens?
harder to find.
But I've had where it happened where I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on the plane last. Like it's gonna be a long ride. I'll just wait out here. I'm gonna be on the plane for 4 hours, 5 hours. And then I get on the plane and I'm one of the last people on the plane and all the seats are filled. And I go to my assigned seat that I'm looking for and someone was sitting in it. And then what do I do? Now that's my seat. But like I'm not confrontational, so I'm not gonna ask you to move. So then I'm gonna find a random open seat, but then what if somebody asks me to move? And then I have to move again.
Yep. No, I'm telling you that won't happen to you. I have been, I have been a Southwest fan for years, and then I'm of course a diehard United girl because I got tired of the early boarding and you'd get on and all of a sudden the first 15 rows were filled and I'm like, I'm A4. How am I in the middle of the plane? Right. Or B4. So I would always get aggravated by that. If I would purchase early bird. So I like the assigned seat. I know where I'm going. I know that I'm going to have a seat and the seat I wanted, right? I picked it when I booked. And if I'm in a middle seat, I know that. And so I'm prepared for that ahead of time. But I'm very interested to see how this rolls out. What's super interesting, you guys, though, is that when I was at ASTA over whatever month that was, maybe Amy, you remember, May, they threw a party at the headquarters. They did a fantastic job. And I literally asked someone at that event, I said, I love you guys, but I cannot stand the boarding policy. Will it ever change? And she looked me dead in the eye and said, well, gosh, that would take a lot of work. And I was like, I know. And literally 2 months later, big announcement. And I'm like, she knew this whole time.
Yeah.
She knew. And she just didn't tell me anything. So I'm trying to read some of the comments here. I'm curious what's going to happen when Southwest rolls out their new Getaways program. Makes me wonder. Yes. Okay. So there is an article out there. I want to say it's in Travel Weekly this week that talks about the different fare classes and how they plan to roll it out. So the Getaway sounds a lot like where you won't have an assigned seat. So I don't know what that's going to look like if everyone else has an assigned seat. Yeah, you guys, the mobility issues, the customer size policy, I think that's all going to transfer over just fine. Maybe not that. Who knows? But I think they're going to mimic a lot of the same policies that happen at Delta and American and United. I mean, they're not recreating the wheel; they're just recreating their wheel. So I think it's going to take some time. But it's like that, debate. Do you want it? Do you not want it? So we'll see what customers have to say. It's going to be a slow rollout, and I didn't see a date of finalization or start date either. So we'll see. Okay. So then their next topic, and then this will be our last one because everyone's got lots of bookings to do, right? G Adventures. G Adventures has solo-ish traveling. Now, would you travel as a solo or would you travel as a solo with a group of other solos?
I feel like for a lot of the destinations that G Adventure services, I would love to be solo in a solo group. So I could still do my own thing, but have like, it's a security blanket, right? Like knowing that if things go wrong, you're not really by yourself.
Right.
I would definitely say solo with a solo group, just because I like to talk. And I feel like if I went on a solo trip by myself, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I went to Punta Cana with agents a couple months ago, and it was great. The whole time I'm with all the agents and talking. And then I went to my room, and I was like, kind of alone. Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I would never be able to go on a solo trip for like a week by myself, because then I would get bored with myself.
Yeah, if you decide to have children, Maddi, I think that mindset might change. You will crave the
Maybe.
days that you're alone.
Maybe.
That's funny. You're lonely after leaving the group for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yvette, what about you?
Yeah, I think the same. I would go as a solo traveler, but with the other solos, because like Maddi, I like to talk too. But and it's also the same instance. You go back to your room and you're by yourself. So I'm going on a fam trip in 2 weeks, and I'm like, I guess I'll get a lot of work done when I go back to my room.
Yeah,
because it's just going to be me and my laptop. So yeah, I would rather go with other people, but still have time to do stuff either on my own as a solo traveler. So
I think I'm with you guys that if you've listened to the Travel Stories Unpacked podcast, where I was a guest and spoke about my adventures in my younger years, it's pretty clear that I probably shouldn't travel solo for fear of death, making the wrong choice. But so I feel like going with other people would be fine. I think my fear is, what if they're all nuts, or not fun, or annoying, but you run into that no matter what, I guess. No matter where you go, you might not gel with everyone. You just hope you gel with someone. So right. I think I would maybe try it solo. It doesn't bother me to go places by myself. Like, I go to the movies by myself. I'll go eat by myself. If I go to a bar, it's not like a hoppin' bar. It'll be like a hotel lobby bar, and I'll sit at the bar. So, it doesn't look super weird, but yeah, being by myself or in solitude does not bother me. That was a word that was used this morning, but I think I could do it. I think someone's writing here, Missy's saying a week on Disney or on a cruise solo sounds nice. Yeah. I'm wondering if I'd be a little lonely on a cruise. But hey, it's worth a shot, I guess. I don't know that I'd do Disney on my own. Would you do Disney on your own, Amy?
Yeah, I definitely would.
You would do the parks on your own? Yeah?
I definitely would. I mean,
yeah.
But it's weird when I go without anybody, because I've gone so often, I feel like a little adrift. Like, I'm like, I don't have anybody to show cool stuff to.
You show me.
You're like inserting yourself into other people's conversations. You're like, ooh, let me tell you about this. That's funny. All right. So last question. If you were to go solo somewhere, where would it be?
Oh, good question. I think mine would be Scotland. I have like some ancestry stuff there that I want to do. And it's what's kept me from planning a trip is like, my girls are not interested in that yet. They're still too little. They would be bored out of their minds. Look at these old ruins that your great grandparents were born in. So yeah, I think I would do Scotland by myself.
Yeah.
I've traveled by myself before. But I don't really have any place in mind where I would want to go now. Like, if I was to go to like an all-inclusive resort and hang out on the beach, I guess I could do that by myself because I enjoy my own company, but I would prefer to have other people there. I prefer to have other people there to talk to. So, I don't really have a specific place. I traveled to Nantucket by myself because I live in Arizona now. So I used to live I'm originally from Philadelphia. So I said, let me go on this trip because I'm getting ready to move to the other side of the country. Let me go on this trip and just do it. So I drove up to Massachusetts, took the ferry over, and believe it or not, I met two ladies who had been traveling in a solo group, and they became friends over 20 years ago. So every year they would go away on a trip together. And they invited me to lunch. So I thought that was cool. I was there by myself. They invited me to lunch. We hung out. But I don't think there's really anywhere else I go right now by myself other than relaxing on the beach.
That sounds really fun, Yvette, going to Nantucket by yourself. I think I could do that.
It was
I could
very
do that.
relaxing, and yeah.
Yeah, Amy, you, part of the KHM team, says solo all the way. She loves going places. She loves going places by herself. Maddi, what about you? Where are you going all by yourself?
So I was thinking about it, and I think I would say Italy. And with that being said, it's because ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to go to Pompeii. I don't know where this weird obsession came from, but I was like 7 years old with an obsession with Pompeii. And I have family who live in Italy, in Sicily actually. And my stepdad is a dual citizen, and I've never been. I'm 23 years old and I've never been when I have family who live there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would go by myself and go to Pompeii because nobody wants to go with me. I've begged people to go with me. So I think I'm going by myself. Maybe that's one solo trip that I'll do.
Well, and you know what, Maddi, I would totally do it. Book it tomorrow, sweetheart. Because I'm telling you, if no one wants to go with you, and I think that's kind of the curse of the travel advisor, right? Like if no one wants to go with you, we are not afraid to go by ourselves.
Yeah.
We will just go ahead and do it. I think there's so much of the world that we want to see. I was trying to think where I would go. I'd probably end up like in a city where there's museums to wander and streets to go down, and nothing like super romantic. But I think that I think I would want to do that. Although I would go to Fiji by myself.
Ooh, yeah.
And just hang out on the beach. Like that could be fun.
Yeah.
I've heard your stories about how much you love Fiji.
Oh, Amy. Not on live YouTube. Annie U's dying right now. Oh gosh, you guys. All right, you guys tell me in the chat where you would go. Amy, that's terrible. I'm turning all red.
She's never going to go live with me ever
I'm
again.
never going live again. Amy has now been taken off the KHM Today guest list.
I know what you're talking about. I'm getting red for you.
All right, you guys. What else? Annie. You guys are hilarious. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I think we'll call it a day with that last comment. And you guys, it is so fun. If you don't have core values in your business, you don't have to have 12. Have 4 or 5 that you live by every day. When you wake up in the morning, you look at them on your board, you look at them on your computer, and you just remember why you're doing this every day. And that's your mantra. That's how you go into, your emails, your phone calls, your research time. Get in that space where you feel good about what you're doing. And, they're words to live by, at least in your business. So thank you so much, Amy, Maddi, Yvette, for being here today. Yvette, I should just give you a shout out because you've been helping me a ton with Aruba. Yvette practically lives there half time, and she has all sorts of resources and wisdom. So again, you guys, I'm the education manager, but I don't know it all. So I have to lean into you guys too, and I'm not afraid to say it. So don't forget to know who your partners are in this business. You guys, thanks so much. Love you all. Thanks for being here. You guys, thanks so much. Missy, Annie, beach lovers. I think Angela's on here. Gina, you guys are amazing. I hope you enjoyed our silly conversation today. Well, it's not super silly, right? Core values are serious and we want to live by them. But thank you all. Thank you to our sponsors who continue to support the show. You guys, next week, we have Sandals. And we have Crystal Cox Walker, one of our agents, one of our diamond agents, who's going to come on and talk about her amazing journey to diamond. Have a great week, everyone. Happy selling.